Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Trade the Chain. It is Wednesday, December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve and 2 days before Christmas, when everybody will be opening a lot of presents. But not today, because we have some big news that we're going to cover. I'm joined by my co-host Ryan Gorman. I got Monty and CJ, our crypto analysts from Market Rebellion, and I got the one and only Rob from Digital Asset News joining in from the Pool House office. So now I'll let Ryan do a little bit of the legal stuff.
Just a reminder that all content and information provided by Trade the Chain is for informational purposes only. This is not investment advice and should not be construed as such.
As a matter of fact, you really shouldn't listen to anything we really say. We're for
Not at all.
entertainment purposes only. We're like stand-up comics almost. And now we'll get our shameless plugs out of the way before we dive into our show.
This Trade the Chain is brought to you by Trade the Chain. Trade crypto like an insider. It's a dashboard with real-time sentiment alerts, price projections, and social media metrics to help you make more informed decisions about how to trade, and a global community with traders around the world sharing ideas across, I think, 17 time zones now, Alex?
Yep, 17. We're
all hours of the day and night. They're in there sharing ideas, bouncing their successful trades off each other, and just chatting about the markets in general. Beautiful interface, 14-day trial run. Give it a shot. TradeTheChain.com.
Beautiful interface, nothing to lose. And then moving on, Market Rebellion Crypto. We're just over a month into launch now. We've got a lot of ambitious stuff. Going into the education curriculum specifically, we're going to be redoing that and launching it into the actual product. We provide trade insights as well as a macro portfolio for anyone who wants to join. And you can ask Monty and I questions, our opinions on particular assets, any time of the day, any hour, we will answer. And you can join if you go to marketrebellion.com/crypto, and you can sign up for a $1 trial for the first month today. So please do that. We would love to have you as part of the community over at Market Rebellion. And this leads us to Rob's channel, Digital Asset News. You want to talk about the giveaway that you're participating in, Rob?
Yeah, sure. So everybody, guess what? Free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? Well, we're giving away a lot of that. So we've been doing this since the 14th. We are on the 23rd. And tonight we're going to have Danish on, and he's going to be giving away Bitcoin Cash. Danish Chowdhury, he is the head of Bitcoin.com, the exchange. And maybe he's going to give us some personalized insider information. Not for sure. So I can't wait for that. Also, we've already given away one lucky winner for Market Rebellion, and the 25th, we're also giving away an additional Market Rebellion winner for 1 full year of trading information, as well as 2 lucky winners for Trade the Chain. So we do this every day, and that's a way to give back thanks. So thanks everybody for watching the channel and show.
I just want to say that one, the $100 in BCH is coming directly out of Danish's own pocket, so that's always makes it more favorable. And then 2, I'm a member of Market Rebellion, and before we started taping this episode, Trade the Chain, I was over in one of their member webinars that they were giving today. It was really cool. CJ and Monty do a great job over there, and a lot of interaction with the members. And I will say the one thing that came up that was one of the most interesting points is that those are not plastic boxes behind Monty where his sneakers are in. Those are specially custom made Nike garages, which you see over his left shoulder. But moving on, we're going to hit the big boards today, get the BTC, the ETH action, and then we're going to actually focus on 2 big news stories that have been coming out this week. One is XRP. We're going to break that down and see what that means. And the other one is Ledger and the data hack that they suffered back in June, which had nothing to do with your crypto. So apparently all that is safe. It had to do with some personal information. And a lot of people are angry at what's coming out of there. So we're going to get Ryan's, get him with his PR hat on and discuss that as well. So Monty and CJ, on to the big boards, my friends.
Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot to say about Bitcoin today. I'm bullish neutral, and I'm getting ready to go long as we pass this setup trend line, this dotted line that you see as it's been acting as resistance. The fact that we've actually consolidated above 23,600, Bitcoin's getting so high that yeah. But anyways,
higher lows.
yeah, since we're consolidating above the $23,600 level, that's very bullish, because a lot of times in Bitcoin, when we see a sell-off, it's usually a blow off top. And this is not the case. What we're seeing here is a nice consolidation for bullish momentum to potentially continue.
Yeah, and last week,
I will say, Monty, hold on one sec. I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry for interrupting. I do want to say is that we did, the title of the last episode was, "Is Bitcoin topping out?" And we weren't too far off from that, guys. And you guys called it. It's been pretty level.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to mention. Is last week we kind of all had a bearish outlook on Bitcoin. We were expecting a drawback, and we got exactly that. And the technicals were kind of indicating that Bitcoin was largely overbought. We got the green 9, we had a combo 13. So a reversal was looking imminent. But I think what was most noteworthy from this reversal is kind of the fact that it was only about a 9.9% drawdown. So typically, I think a lot of analysts in the space were expecting kind of a larger drawdown during this period. We had such a quick uptrend to this new level that it kind of felt like it was largely overbought, and that around this time we'd be seeing a return to somewhere below the 20K range. But people continue to buy Bitcoin. We had news that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy bought even more Bitcoin at 21K. And yeah, it looks like a lot of people kind of flipped their outlook after that just under 10% drawback. So yeah, this just seems a lot more sustained. We've been harping on the institutional factor and how it's just a less fickle of a market. And I think we kind of saw that in this last week.
I think you're right. So part of that was the Saylor buying $650 million worth of Bitcoin. Another part of it, on Monday, Skybridge announced their first Bitcoin fund. And then I think it was today or late yesterday, they announced they've committed $25 million to that fund. And then you have Michael Saylor openly chatting yesterday with Elon Musk on Twitter about committing a portion of Tesla's reserves into Bitcoin as well. So this goes back to something I mentioned on the last episode about how all of this institutional buying, even if retail goes into panic selling mode the minute that Bitcoin starts dropping, it only makes sense that the institutions allocating Bitcoin and holding on for the long term, that they would put in this artificial price floor to keep it from dropping too much. And that appears to be what's happened this week, because no one saw it staying above 20K for this long, at least not most people.
I got a couple things for you, Ryan. One is, did Elon Musk actually respond to Michael Saylor's tweets?
Repeatedly. Yeah.
Repeatedly. Okay. All right. So they know that. So they've interacted officially. Another thing is that I'm just gonna repeat what was said on a public show yesterday. And this is in regards to the mooch, and he's launching a fund. But on the halftime report, there's somebody who mentioned something very similar, and that's all I'm going to say. But moving on, I'll let everybody else figure it out.
We'll see how it plays out.
He has a tendency to kind of put the cart before the horse. So, I mean,
we're talking about John Najarian from Market Rebellion, who is one of the charismatic hosts of Halftime Report in response to Mr. Scaramucci's launching of a crypto fund. So I find it interesting that a lot of the big players are getting into that space. Scaramucci, I think Anthony was probably one of the last people I would have expected to jump on this bandwagon. But who knows? John's been in it for a long time, but we'll see. But that's as much time I'll take up on that. What do we got on the ETH boards, guys? Is ETH carrying DeFi still? What do we got? You know, first of all, there's a lot of tweets going on around sushi price action, as well as a couple of others. So I don't know if this is helping the Ethereum market at all, but it is positive news.
Yeah, DeFi, I mean, the entire space needs to grow and people need to buy Bitcoin if, you know, people are going to step in and speculate on alts and DeFi. What I like from a technical perspective here on Ethereum, and what I will say is that it's very similar to what we saw on Bitcoin. You know, we had a 9, got a very nice correction off of that 9 of a you know, resistance level. Now we're kind of in this ascending triangle formation. I think if Bitcoin continues to consolidate above $23,600, and that can actually go back to $24,000 amongst new highs, I think ETH, when it breaks this open channel, past this resistance, I think we could go to 700 very, very quickly if bullish momentum ensues. But, you know, we're going to have to see what happens.
All right, cool. Let's just jump into what we all want to talk about. Ryan, take it away. New segment. This is good stuff.
Yeah, so earlier this week,
Wait, hold on. CJ has to sign in with his Facebook account to get the article.
It's New York Times, and so I'll bring up the Cointelegraph one.
Sure. So earlier this week, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, mentioned on Twitter that the SEC was planning to sue Ripple over its issuance of XRP, saying that it was an unauthorized securities sale. And, you know, it initially went down a bit, but not too much. And then last night, Nathaniel Popper, New York Times, who tends to be the guy breaking these types of stories, got his hands on the lawsuit documents before anyone else, and was tweeting out excerpts of them before his article published. And basically, the gist here is that the sale, what was it, like 1.3 billion in sale of XRP was done under false pretenses, and all these stories about adoption and use cases, they were also you know, kind of falsely promoted because everyone who was using it for the most part was being paid to use it. And that was done to pump up the value of the stock. And it made a handful of the founders, including Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, billionaires. I think one document mentioned that Brad Garlinghouse profited and his wife profited 450 million each or together at one point in a very short period of time. And, you know, some of the details in the documents were just damning. And he keeps vowing to fight the lawsuit, but I don't understand how he thinks they can win. It just doesn't, it seems like an even more uphill battle than the OJ case was at the onset. But I mean, anything is possible, but I don't see how they come out of this hole.
Well, I mean, Ryan, to your point, hundreds of millions of dollars have been profited off of insider sales, and it was well documented last September, I believe. The CFO, who, you know, these guys got millions, tens of millions of XRP at their disposal. They get paid in it, you know, they had a whole schedule out. I mean, he literally disclosed, listen, I'm block selling every single month. I get my allocation of XRP, which is in the millions. I'm block selling it and getting out of it. I think that also has something to do with consumer sentiment when it comes to XRP, but I don't know.
I can tell you right now, sorry, this one, like when we talk about consumer sentiment, about all the things that Brad and, well, Jeb and Chris Larson are selling. Jeb is a don't know story, but it's amazing to me, like the XRP community, they're just like, you know what, that's his prerogative and he can sell as much as he wants to. And it's like, they just kind of look past everything. And then they're just like XRP, XRP, XRP. But
they
I know
they can sell however much they want. Executives of publicly traded companies schedule stock sales all the time. It's within his prerogative to sell the XRP. I have no problem with him doing that.
Sure. I mean, he can sell and sell and sell like crazy. But when he's talking about, you take a look at it and go, well, I'm very long on this. I'm very long on this. And you're like, well, how much are you?
If he's paid in it, he has to sell some, or else how is he going to make any money? I mean, I have no problem with him selling that. I think users of Trade the Chain, though, when they look at daily sentiment for this token, and some of them might unfortunately be XRP bag holders who have ridden this thing down 34% in the last 24 hours when they see a 12 for a daily sentiment score. I've never seen that before. I think they might be a little upset. And if they're holding it on an exchange, I think Crosstower and a handful of others have delisted XRP. I think they might be upset as well. Bitwise also sold off their XRP allocation. I think it was 9.3 million, right, Alex?
Bitwise.
Actually, Rob just covered that on his channel. Rob, what was that?
It was, I think they had like 2.9 or 3.5% in their crypto fund. And they liquidated everything and allocated it to other cryptocurrencies. And they put out a statement and said, hey, we can't do this because if it is deemed a security, we could be in the fault for that. So we're going to get out of it to protect everybody.
I want to ask everybody, does anybody think this guy right here is sad today?
You don't want to poke the bear, Alex. Nothing good ever comes from her, going after Michael Harrington. He's combative at worst.
Well, I mean, just following the Twitter wars over the years, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's I think this is my take on this, and I shot a text out to a couple of you guys before, and it is, you know, the SEC is here to protect the retail investors, the everyday investors, and there's a lot of them right now that are holding XRP bags because this lawsuit is so timed, so close to after the Spark airdrop, which had a lot of hype in it, a lot of retail interest in it, and people on the show and otherwise bought in and in order to get this XRP. But now these investments are essentially on their way down, ruined. It goes against everything the SEC stands for. So I have a question is, they have all the control in the world to time whenever they're going to release a lawsuit. And they actually, in past instances in traditional world, have held back on releasing certain actions because of the damage it would do to the everyday folk. Why do this now? Why damage so many retail investors?
It could be due to a change of leadership coming at the SEC, and time is of the essence, perhaps. I mean, it's only weeks from the Biden administration and his appointees taking control, and there might be different priorities they think in their mind. And it goes along with some of the other announcements the administration has made or is planning to make, if you believe a lot of the news reports, including around private wallets. It seems like this administration, for some reason, is taking combative, stance against crypto, one that's kind of counter to innovation. And they're trying to inflict as much damage as they can, at least to this part of the financial sector, on their way out, because perhaps they don't understand it and they think that they're helping people.
What I don't understand is, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, what I don't understand is that Brian Brooks just a couple weeks ago said, he was on the Squawk Box and said, you know what, we're going to see a lot of favorable legislation come out and crypto holders are going to be very happy. And he talked about how it's going to be great for legislation. It's going to be great to determine which cryptocurrencies are securities or whatnot, or how they're defined. And I'm like, didn't this guy just said this like 2 weeks ago? And now here we are, unless he was told something completely different. But he may not have known.
He may not have known about this.
Yeah.
I mean, the left hand doesn't talk to the right hand in small companies, let alone large government bureaucracy. He may not have known.
It just goes to show you. It's just an odd thing that the head of the OCC is just like, yeah, this is what's going to happen. And then he gets totally blindsided. It's just interesting.
One question I have for everyone here, right? I rode this dog down quite a bit, getting in on the Flare airdrop. I lost,
All he could afford after he was done was that sweater, guys.
Yeah, buddy, look. XRP bag holders, ugly sweater, love it. But, I lost a decent amount of money in the Flare airdrop, holding on to quite a bit of XRP before I could sell it because it was frozen. Let's say it goes down to a few cents a token. Do you buy the dead cap bounce and see what happens in the lawsuit? I mean, I can see putting $1,000 into it just to see what happens. Worst case, I lose it, and I have a fun story to tell about how I made the worst investment I ever made. But I mean, it's only $1,000, and in the grand scheme of things, the potential upside versus I lose $1,000, I think it's worth it. What do you guys think?
I think the odds are better on roulette, and plus you get it over with a lot quicker, so it's not as painful. That's what
I mean, I'm a bit of a masochist, though.
You're gonna have to look at that $1,000 right away for a long time.
I mean, I'm a masochist. I'm Irish. It's what we do. So I'm all about it.
I feel like that's actually like the sentiment of a lot of the XRP army. They just buy it just to be angry. Like they don't actually expect it to even do well sometimes. So I think you'd fit right in, actually.
The funny thing is, and Rob kind of touched on this earlier when he was talking about the XRP army, but there's people on Twitter I've seen who actually claim that this is a good thing for XRP.
That was my next question, CJ. Could this turn out to be a good thing in the end with a favorable return? Listen, Ryan said it many times, SEC is an 800-pound gorilla, but there have been instances where people have won. Does this make it a good thing if the outcome is a favorable one for XRP?
Buy the dip. I'll find out.
Well, you can buy the dip, but the question is, when do you buy that dip? Is it going to go to 3 cents, 2 cents, 1 cent? I will say this, and I talked about this to you guys before. If it goes down that low, this is a fantastic reward for me because I get to sell and I get a huge tax write-off. And that is the truth. I have been holding XRP since 2017. And
Oof.
Wow. Yeah. And on my, I know, hey, don't pity me. Trust me. I'm just stubborn. That's what it comes down to.
You paid for that pool in XRP.
That's right. I paid for it. And I make no bones about it because I say, hey, I've already lost 80% of the value. 20% is going to kill me. So if it does again, it goes again. That's okay.
So let's say it's at 3 cents. It goes down to 2 cents and 1 cent. If I put $1,000 in, okay, fine. I lose $600. I lost more than that in the airdrop. But let's say it goes up to 6 cents. I double my money.
Someone agree with Ryan. He's looking for reassurance.
No, I don't need reassurance. I'm just saying dead cap bounces happen in the equities market all the time. You can buy the dead cap bounce and see what happens.
Yeah, if it goes,
your only downside is $1,000.
If it goes down to a penny and it's like a penny stock and bumps up to 2 cents, you've 100% returned it. Yeah.
But I just put another $1,000 into it if it went down to a penny because it will go up to 2 cents. I mean, come on. Of course it will. So, because the army will support it to an extent. I'm a degenerate gambler. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, couple things I just want to cover before we move on. One is, this is not financial advice, so don't listen to Ryan. This isn't tax
Not at all. Don't
advice.
listen to me.
This isn't tax advice.
Wait, one more thing I wanted to point out, Alex. Monero went up 6.5% in the wake of this. Like it actually went up. Somehow it had the inverse reaction to Ripple. And I got in a little late on that. I wish I got in a little sooner. I mean, I got some of my XRP losses back, but I mean, playing Monero long-term might also not be a bad direction to look.
I would be curious about XLM
It
and
didn't do
how
so well.
XLM has responded to this.
Stellar dropped, I believe.
Yeah,
it
it went
pulled off
off
as
a
well.
cliff.
I want to show you guys this because it's actually pretty cool. XLM.
Is it a compilation of all the faces of the XRP army in horror as the token went through the floorboards?
It's
No,
like
no.
it's like the TA version of an 80s mixtape that you create at home.
But so this is the correlation between XLM and XRP. It's 0.88. This is probably the highest correlation between any two altcoins I can find. And so, yeah, when we look at the chart, we can see it looks exactly the same on XLM and XRP. XLM didn't go down as much, but I mean, it's still pretty bad.
Well, where's XLM located? Could this be a systemic issue from XRP to XLM from a legal perspective?
Seems as if that's what the market is perceiving.
Yeah.
Have we heard from the Flare folk about the status of the airdrop? Because you can't really do an airdrop on a token that doesn't necessarily exist anymore.
Yeah, what does happen with the airdrop now, guys?
A lot of exchanges are going to have a lot of problems.
This is so out of my realm right now in crypto, and that happens a few times. But yeah, what happens to the airdrop that just happened?
That's a great question. I got to bring that up on my channel.
And even Rob is stumped, and Rob usually has some good ideas.
So they announced the ratio yesterday, 1.0073 Flare tokens per XRP. But if the underlying XRP doesn't have any value. What's the value of Flare if it's built on top of a protocol that's about to become outlawed?
That's
Yeah,
a
and
good
then
question.
Yeah, what happens to the exchanges? I mean, can they, because me and Alex, I mean, we talked about this. I mean, can they really do anything if it is a security? Or do they want to separate themselves? Because I know institutions don't really want to say, you know what, we'll just see how it all plays out and not protect ourselves. They usually get in front of it like Bitwise and go, you know what, we don't know what's going on, but come talk to us when everything's figured out, then we'll help you.
Dude, the last thing anybody wants to get, any exchange or any business, is a Wells notice from the SEC. They'll drop it like it's hot before they'll say, we'll deal with it.
Which is notable because a large, high-value Manhattan-based exchange was mentioned in the XRP lawsuit.
That was a giveaway, Brian. That was a giveaway. We know who it is.
I wasn't going to say their name. Let everyone else draw their own conclusions. I don't want to,
It has two owners. It has two owners. They're based in Manhattan. It's an exchange of high value.
I'm just saying, slander laws being what they are, and being a former journalist, I'll just let the lawsuit speak for itself. I don't want to name any names.
Yeah, but surprisingly, I read that part of the complaint, and they ducked it. They ducked it. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. And responded like that. I mean, you can read this public information. You could read the whole XRP complaint, but that high value Manhattan exchange, crypto exchange owned by two people, rebuffed XRP pressuring incentives in order to list it, from what I remember. I do want to say that, listen, I don't know the executives at XRP. I don't. XRP, on the face of things, I was in favor of years ago. This isn't against XRP in particular. This is just us talking about the news and stuff like that. But I don't want to put down one project over the other, one person over the other.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Yeah. This is just us having an enlightened episode, but it by no means on the backs of people's misfortunes.
I think enlightened is a very generous word.
I think we should move on now.
Yeah, there's plenty of bad products we can talk about.
Sure thing. But this is one of them. This is one of them. And I'm not going to hold back on this because this has me steamed, Ryan. What's happening?
Sure. So the Ledger wallet, offline wallet, a hardware wallet, their customer database, their marketing database was hacked, and all of everyone's information was released on the dark web and then eventually made public on the lit web, so to speak, the World Wide Web. And it's like their names, their email addresses, financial information, home addresses, phone numbers, all of it. And because of this, people are getting threats like, we know where you live, we know how many kids you have, we're coming to find you. And like there's evidence of this all over social media, and there's been some really adverse outcomes for a number of people. And then the leadership at Ledger comes out and says, yeah, we're just not going to reimburse anyone. Panabla, good luck, And it's just, I just don't understand why they would immediately take such a combative stance against their users. That's just marketing and public relations 101. You don't do that. Like, it's just, are they trying to alienate everyone that they have on their platform? I mean, Alex is a Ledger wallet user. How did it make you feel when this came out and they took this awful, just...
I've dined with Pasquale. I think their product is good. I am a Ledger user. I do want to say right now, folks, I am part of that breach. I have no Bitcoin. I'm poor as shit. Okay, so don't come to my house. Those ledgers are empty.
He lives. That's a van down by the river. That address. It's a van down by the home.
This is really it's disappointing. And there's such a powerful, popular company. I mean, Rob, you have the big swath of retail users as subscribers to your channel. You must be getting inundated with messages like of disappointment.
Yeah, I had to put out one specific video just for this, and it was something that, and CJ even talked about this before we went live. He said, people are getting these like threats to, via email, like, hey, I know what your name is. I know exactly where you live. You live right by me. And I know that you have some kind of cryptocurrency, because only people who invest in cryptocurrency would have a ledger. I don't know how much you have, but I want that. And I'm going to come to your house. I'm going to use a wrench. I'm going to bust up your face. And these are the types of things that people are getting. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, they're getting these. But see, I only saw this on one type of post. And then there was another one. This was on a Reddit post, so take it as you will. Someone said that they got a phone call from somebody and said the same type of thing, but it was a little bit different. They go, hey, I know who you are. I need money because I have a problem with drugs. And I know exactly where you live. So you're going to give it to me. And it was pretty crazy because like when I did the video, at first I said, look, if someone's got the balls to say, hey, I'm going to come to your house, I'm going to put a wrench in your face. If they got the balls to say that and actually do it, what makes you think they're not going to go to somebody else's house that actually has real money that they can steal as opposed to even if you have something or not? Because they don't know what you have. You could have 1,000 BitTorrent in your nano ledger, which is nothing, right? Or you could have 1,000 Bitcoin. Are they gonna go through all that trouble? Probably not. So they probably go someplace else. But a person with like a schizophrenia type of thing who is not on their meds, that is one of those things. So what I talked about was like, just protect yourself. And like in Texas here, we have a right to stand grounds.
Stand your ground.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stand your ground. So, I mean, look, I haven't shot anything since I was in the Army, which was an M16 and a 9mm. I still have some, but I mean, like it's going to go down that route. But it makes you wonder, it makes you think like, Jesus, I just got into this game just to get cryptocurrency. And now I got people who potentially could become my house. It makes you a little bit apprehensive of what's going to happen.
These threats, they remind me of what happened with the Ashley Madison hack, right? Because all these people that were on Ashley Madison, their information was exposed. They were getting all these threats as well. And the stories are very similar. Like the threats, the demands for ransom. It's scary that something like this could happen.
I have my guns. I will shoot.
These are the only guns I have, the water guns. No, it's scary that something like this could happen, and a company would just abandon its users like this, And if I were in those shoes, putting on the public relations hat, doing this for companies, I don't know that I'd immediately just come out and say, good luck. We're not helping you. I don't know that I'd announce some kind of reimbursement or anything right away, but some kind of announcement saying we're looking into how this occurred and we're taking the appropriate steps to ensure it doesn't happen again. And then in a few weeks, announcing the steps that were taken. And then say, hey, we're looking into how we can possibly reimburse people, what kind of compensation, if possible, can be provided. It leaves the door open for none to be had, but at least you're taking into consideration. And, maybe hold a town hall with all of your users like Celsius does on a weekly basis, or like Trade the Chain does on a weekly basis. Listen to their concerns. Don't just throw two middle fingers up in the air. I'm trying not to get angry because this is just infuriating. And I don't even
get angry, man. Get angry.
I'm going to start cursing, and I don't want to curse. It's
then we can't monetize the video. Let me check this out. Everybody, when something bad happens in the world, the first thing people do is, how am I getting compensated? What are you going to pay us? That happens with every single thing, whether it's a hack or somebody who owns a car where one person's airbag killed them in Canada and the guy in Florida is like, how are you going to pay me? I got the car. The thing is that, to Ledger's point in the article, it's a small company, right? There's thousands of Ledger users. So, remuneration of any sort of compensation is not realistic. But also, how do you measure that?
Yeah, it's impossible to measure, but I think Ryan makes a great point. Like, they're servicing a community that values privacy and security above all else. And then they come out and they don't even really address it. It just seems like, yeah, they're kind of losing the trust aspect that is so important. 100%. That's what people are, when they're putting their Bitcoin on Ledger, they are 100% trusting their company. And they betrayed that trust in this instance.
They've lost the plot. Like they just, they don't get what's happened. And even if it's not a monetary reimbursement, it's just, listen to your users. If they had come out and done that, and then they had a town hall and they said, okay, we're going to listen to you and take your feedback and make a better product. We're going to find a way to, let's say you lose crypto to ransom or something that you pay. We might not necessarily be able to make you whole, but we'll find a way to make this right. instead of just saying, hey,
Hey, it's
luck.
tough.
Yeah, it's good luck, good night, best of luck to you. I don't understand who gave them this advice, or if they just ignored their PR firm's advice. I know they have a PR firm. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
I
what,
don't know.
I know
beyond
who their
like
PR
just
firm is. Like, I don't know
beyond
why
the
they would throw
actual
this out.
beyond the actual physical Bitcoin that's stolen, like the biggest loss here is the peace of mind of all the people that have any money on a Ledger wallet. Like that is something that could be reimbursed by doing exactly like you said. They could regain the trust of the people and reassure their peace of mind by just coming out and at least saying something. But yeah, I think they handled this very poorly.
Samsung is a great playbook for this. Sorry to cut you off, Alex, but Samsung is a great playbook for this. The Note phones, all the batteries were exploding and catching fire. No one wanted a Samsung phone. Instead of just ignoring everyone saying, well, we don't care if your pants are on fire, good luck, they recalled all the phones. They went through all of these upgrades and tests, and they went through this whole process to ensure this won't happen again. And they were very public and transparent about it. They were very remorseful. And I didn't think I'd ever buy a Samsung Note phone again, but here we are, Note 20 Ultra, and I've owned the last 4 Note phones. I just, there are ways back from this. There is the right approach to take. Samsung is a great example of that. I think Ledger just, they went to burn it down to the ground approach.
I mean, a couple things. First of all, do you guys remember when you had to pull out a Samsung phone on an airplane and keep it in view so the flight attendants could see it because of that burning problem? But Samsung phones, yeah, sure, they could take down an airplane, but they didn't hold wealth, right? So these things have wealth on them. They have people's hard-earned money on them. And the physical threats, those are real world threats. I mean, if somebody has a belief that you have wealth in crypto, they'll come to your home. You're going to give up a seed phrase. Trust me. Why do you think if you go to many of the counterparties in crypto's websites, they don't have addresses on them? Because the threat is real. And the ones that do have addresses, let me just tell you, crypto funds and crypto counterparties, those addresses can usually be found across the street. They're fake addresses. And that's because they don't want people showing up. How many stories have we read over the years where thieves robbed a Bitcoin ATM machine out of a freaking gas station? Dude, there's no Bitcoin in it.
This is why prime brokers don't disclose their clients publicly, right? This is why private banks don't disclose every single high net worth person they talk to. I mean, they've really just screwed the pooch on this one, Ledger. I mean,
I think it's really bad. I'm not sure. I mean, how do you walk this back, Ryan?
I mean, you need a good crisis comms guy. I might know one, but ultimately you take the Samsung approach, and it's still not irrecoverable or recoverable, whatever the word is, but it's still not gone. I mean, the house hasn't burned completely to the ground, but it's absolutely on fire. And you can save it, but you kind of have to have a mea culpa, say, hey, we were wrong, and this is what we're going to do to fix it. And whoever's not giving them that advice is not doing their job, if they're in a position like I have with the companies I work with, because that's the first thing I would tell them.
You know what it is?
If you're listening, guys, happy to help, but I don't think you want my help.
Ryan Gorman, you can get his information description if you need a crisis comm guy. Rob, you have a lot of, you test a lot of products and go through a lot of products yourself. What is an alternative that you would recommend, if you do have a recommendation, to the Ledger hardware wallet for users? Because I want to say, folks, this has nothing to do with the crypto that's in the Ledger. It has to do with the personal data. But there's going to be a lot of people who are like, I'm just out anyway. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Coinbase? No, I'm just kidding. So, so I did a Kobo wallet review, and I just didn't like it at all. I think the next one that you're probably going to look at is Trayzor. And I've heard a lot of my subscribers say that they have had no problems with Trayzor. They've set it up and it hasn't been hacked, and there's been no issues. No one has their home addresses and phone numbers and things like that. So if you are Trayzor or Kobo wallet, I mean, this is like the best news of the decade for you. Let's be honest. So outside of that, what really sucks is that it's a good product, and it has never had a problem. I've never had any crypto taken out of it. My 24-word mnemonic phrases are set in stone. I don't have to worry about that. But just like Ryan said, it's going to go away now because of this issue, because they couldn't fix this part. And that's going to be a big, huge, I mean, it's going to burn them down. And you know what? They've done things to say, like, we're going to correct this. Like they send out emails and they do tweets, but those are so anemic. What they need to do, what Ryan said, was town hall meeting, just like Alex Mascioli does, AMA, everybody come together on a continuous basis. This is what we're doing. This is how we're going to fix it. Because
you
when
remember, sorry to cut you off. Do you remember, I think it was United, Oscar Munoz, the CEO, when that person was dragged off the plane and they ended up in the hospital. And then he put out this just corporate speak, gobbledygook, emotionally crippled statement saying, it's unfortunate that passenger had to be reaccommodated. The guy was, I think, unconscious. That's not reaccommodation, that's abuse. And, he immediately walked back that statement after the public reaction to it. It was a hard lesson to learn, but at least he learned that lesson and he vowed to be better, and they changed policies, they changed procedures, and he ate crow in public. He took his medicine, and it just doesn't feel like Ledger is going to do that this time.
But okay, here's what's crazy. Think about this right now. How many people come out in the news and say, I messed up, I made a mistake? You never hear it anymore, like ever. You only hear from the President of the United States. I mean, it's just amazing to me that no one can come in there and go, you know what, we made a mistake, this is what we did, this is how we're gonna fix it, A, B, C, D. It just doesn't happen. It should happen, but
hey, we were wrong. We got it wrong, and we're learning. It's not hard. I say it every day to my wife. I don't know what the problem is. Same.
There it is.
And we're gonna do say, we have a solution for you. You may have heard of this thing. It's the Bobby Lee Ballet wallet. Okay. And what I'm holding happens to be a sealed, unopened first edition. All right. This is a hardware wallet put out by the brother of the Litecoin creator. I don't know how to work this thing, but if you want it, just put "I want ballet wallet" into the comment, and I will randomly pick the unlucky person and send it to them. All right.
I will pick the 3 people that respond to this.
I only have one, so if you want it, only one person's going to get picked. And if you do win it, you will also get a limited edition pair of Bitcoin socks.
But wait, there's more.
No, that's all I got. That's all I got. I want the ballet wallet. There's a famous guy who made it, or the brother of a famous guy. And with that, you get the famous Bitcoin socks.
The guy of the guy of the guy.
Tom DiMaggio of Litecoin.
Tom DiMaggio. Good.
I do want to conclude, because we should wrap this up because CJ and Monty are about to quit the show on us. But I do want to say that once again, folks, from what we understand, absolutely all crypto is safe. This had nothing to do with the crypto. This is a hack that happened back in June of 2020, which had to do with personal data files from the company. And out of the millions of emails they got, I believe it's a couple 100,000 that actually have phone numbers and addresses. Do not respond to any of those crazy emails that I've been getting on a daily basis saying that your wallet's been suspended or it doesn't work anymore. That's all fake, and you will get conned out of your money. You can go to Ledger's official website. They actually have a release out on what's happened and what the response is to it, to check it out. And that's that. It's a heartfelt story.
I mean, I think it's worth pointing out that 170,000 users, I think it was, had their information. I didn't know they had that many users. I mean, I guess good for them.
Well, I'm just happy they didn't have a token. And, I mean, one tanking coin is enough to talk about for the week. So that being said, thank you everybody for joining us. Head over to marketrebellion.com to see what CJ and Monty have. Also, hop on over to Digital Asset News to Rob's channel, because they're giving away what CJ and Monty have. And that's always fun. So until next time, we wish everybody super happy holidays, happy trading, happy hodling, and we'll see you next week. Actually, I think we're scheduled to do this again same day next week because of New Year's. Is that true?
Tuesday, Alex.
Tuesday. We're doing it Tuesday instead of Wednesday of next week. So enjoy, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Don't forget about that ballet wallet. You really don't want it, but if you do, just put it in the comments. Talk to you later.